Hello and welcome back to another amazing conversation. I'm very excited to have this conversation today with Demi-Rae Wone. And like all of our previous interviews, we're going to take a trip down memory lane with Demi first to really learn where she was at before she sorted herself out and found her calling with the business that she's now running. And because we know through story we're inspired to look at our own lives and change and transform and, follow in the steps of someone who's done it before us. And I think you're really going to get a lot out of Demi's journey. So Demi, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Very exciting. Do you want to tell to us a little bit about where you were at? Because your journey towards an empowerment business is maybe a little bit different from a lot of other women in that it wasn't something that you intentionally set out to do. It was something that you kind of fell into as a result of your own journey and the transformation that you had in your own life. So can you talk to us a little bit about where you were before an empowerment business even kind of popped into mind?
I worked for 6.5 years as a criminal law legal secretary. So my everyday was hectic. I spoke to prisoners. I spoke to people who have done heinous, horrible things all day, every day, and it sucked the life out of me. And I basically went on a journey, on my own personal journey, to find a way to get back to feeling empathy. Like I couldn't feel empathy. I couldn't feel compassion. People would tell me a story and I would just go, okay, and it wouldn't get to me. And it came down to this this last conversation I had, and it was just, there's no way I could keep doing what I was doing because this lady told me something that was absolutely horrible and it didn't touch me. My shell was up. There was no crack in it. And so on my personal journey, I studied NLP, I studied hypno. I never did anything with them because those courses didn't really, I didn't have anything after the course. I didn't feel like I didn't have the confidence in the tool. I didn't have the confidence in myself to actually do anything with them. But I did, they were a step in my journey of finding something. And I always felt like I had this something in me that, was going to be big. I knew and I was stuck and I was just felt like I wasn't using my full potential, but there was something that I needed to do and I didn't have the confidence to do it. I didn't have, I didn't know what it was, but it was where I was emotionally, where I was feeling yuck and stuck and like I wasn't going anywhere and like I wasn't living my truth. It got me started and then I slowly got to create truth. It was a journey that I was on.
Yeah. And look, I think that situation that you were in where you found yourself in this 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week job that didn't fulfill you, that left you searching for more, that's a common story that a lot of women go through because, we're told traditionally, get your schooling, get your education, get out and get a job because a job provides you with security. Jobs provide you with a foundation that you can then build the rest of your life on. But what we're not told is if that job doesn't give you fulfillment, it results in you feeling, in your words, an empty shell. Mm. So talk to us about when that was happening, and you were a young woman as well, a woman with, what most people, particularly women who have had a bit of more life experience, they look at young women and they go, you've got the whole life ahead of you and you're stuck in this position, but you've got security. So, do whatever you've got to do to just get through that to make that work. So it takes a leap of courage to really recognise at any age, this is not working for me. What was it that made you realise that journey, that path that you were on was not the path that was actually going to result in life fulfillment for you?
I got told countless times, what are you thinking? Why would you want to get out of this? You can do all these things with legal secretarial work. You can go here, you can go there, you can, you'll always have a job. You'll always have a roof over your head. Oh man. In the end, nobody could believe when I quit that job. Nobody. Not anyone that knew me, not anyone at work. They all thought I'd found some magical job that I was going to that was going to, that I just wasn't telling anyone. And I was like, no, I'm actually taking a risk. I'm leaving this because this is hurting me as a person. And it was, and yeah, I was young, and I had, before I went into that job, I came out of an abusive relationship. So I was actually in that job, I built my confidence back up from nothing. And so security and safety and, you know, knowing where my paycheck was coming from every week was really important to me. As, you know, anyone who's been in that situation where you don't have those things, you realize how, like, you clutch onto them. But then it was a slow understanding of that poison that was going through me. I wasn't doing anything with myself after work. I was taking it home. I was spending, you know, an hour to work, an hour home from work. It was a compounding effect. Like, all of it kind of came together as a slow realization of, I can't do this anymore. And the risk to my security was worth feeling something better. It was worth taking the risk. It was worth that something in me that was just crying out to be like, Demi, you can do more than this. You are meant for more than this. And it definitely was a slow journey. You know, I was there for 6.5 years. Probably should have only been there for 1. But yeah, once I found Creatrix, it wasn't like I knew that this was what I wanted to do either. It wasn't like I magically had the confidence to start a business. I didn't magically know that I was going to be an amazing transformologist and change all these lives. I didn't know any of that. I kind of went, but it's worth it. If the possibility could even slightly exist, and I didn't have to exist in this shell of negativity and trying my hardest to try and be positive every day and trying to, you know, get some kind of enjoyment out of life. If there was just this slightest little chance that this would work and I could actually make it as a business and have the fulfillment and have the purpose behind it and all of those kinds of things, it was worth it. It was worth the risk. It was worth the money. It was worth the time, definitely. And then that definitely paid off.
Because a lot of the time, you know, we make our decisions based on security and money. And both of those decisions, although valid in a lot of circumstances, they're so not the female way of doing things, are they? Because neither of them, although they're important, they're not what gives us the substance of our lives. It's this external thing that someone else tells us is important to us, but of a night time when you're laying in bed, it's not warming your soul.
Exactly. Do you know actually that's a good example. Do you know what I used to do before I went to bed? After a day that had really gotten to me, I would lay there and I would watch funny cat videos until I fell asleep. If that was the only way that I could get my positive energy flowing, that I could actually fall asleep. Because, yeah, I had a roof over my head. And my thought process was, why don't you feel better? Why, when you do have a roof over your head, you have all the money you need, you've got a car, you've got all the things that they say that, you know,
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. All of those things, I had them, and yet I was not happy. I was not happy, and to get happiness, I had to do things like sit there and switch everything off and just concentrate on a YouTube video of cats falling off couches. Like, it had to be like something where that was the only happiness I could, you know, force myself to feel at a time when, yeah, I was laying in bed and I was going, why aren't you happy, Demi? Like, why is this so hard to just fall asleep? Why are you thinking about all these crazy things that, you know, you're at home now, you're not at work, nothing's bad, nothing's wrong, and yet I was so not happy.
Yeah. So you were in that situation where that heart space of yours was saying, just take a risk, because what we're living, even though it looks by all standard definitions of success, it's not enough.
Yep.
So you did NLP, you did hypnotherapy. They helped you to step up and to grow a little bit more in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And then you found Creatrix.
Yeah. And the difference. So NLP, definitely, it came at a time when I was in an abusive relationship, and and I was on antidepressants. So it gave me, if you've ever had NLP, it does shift things, but for me, it didn't last. So yes, when I had it, it definitely got me over a hump just enough so that I could leave that relationship and so that I could, I actually came off antidepressants because I didn't need them. And it was, but then I expected it to kind of keep going, like the ball had started rolling. Let's keep going with this like journey, and it didn't. It just kind of stagnated. I got over that hump, and then I was able to stay off antidepressants, and I did stay out of that relationship, but I didn't do anything else. Like I kind of just stopped and sat in it for 6 years.
So it allowed you to make change by the sounds of it, but it didn't actually do anything to create the internal change.
Yeah. And it was a very situational thing too. So I had the NLP, I did all I made a few changes in my life, and then that was it. Like it didn't keep going at all. Yeah. And I expected it to, so I kind of felt a little bit broken afterwards. Like maybe like it was supposed to keep going. What's wrong with me that it didn't? What's wrong with me that all these patterns are showing back up? Like I didn't then magically find a better man. I kind of, for 6 years, I stayed not very nicely single, and I went into a job that, you know, didn't fulfill me, and I may not have put my mental health as, you know, as a forefront thing. So I kind of stagnated. Yeah. But when I found Creatrix, oh man, I had Creatrix in, I think, 2013 or 14, and I did it on rage. And I can tell you that rage is not an easy thing to live with, and I can picture that all the way when I was 13. That was when I had to suppress that one to even function as a human being. And when it popped out and it kind of came really to the forefront, that one did, for months. And I was just, that feeling in my body, I can still remember it. It gives me tingles thinking about it, because it was overpowering. It was 0 to a million. And I did Creatrix on rage, and the peace. I remember, actually, I can specifically remember what I did afterwards. I went on this long drive. I'd just gotten my license. I went on this long drive in my brand new sports car that I bought, and I went on a bushwalk, and I was just like,
there's a world outside of my anger.
That rage was, and I've never felt it again.
Yep.
I cannot, to this day, and that's at least 6 years, I have never had it come back. And if you think that I'm mucking around,
I can vouch for that, because rage was my issue. Through to the core, rage was my issue, and that was 2012. So, You know, we're both veteran ex-ragers.
Yep.
Yep.
It's the peace, like right here in my chest when I think about it, that's where I feel it. The peace, the calm, that's what it felt like to get rid of that one. And I've never come back up to it. Like it's never come back into my being. And
so experience Creatrix for your own personal reasons first. Mm-hmm. And then through your own journey of realizing that, you know, that 9-to-5 situation was not fulfilling you. There was something more that you were capable of. You kind of just followed your heart a little bit, didn't you? And you fell into the Transformology program led by the heart, less than I'm making this conscious decision to do this so that I can build a business.
Mm-hmm.
So you fell into the Transformology program, but what has happened as a result of the Transformology program? Can you talk to me a little bit about where you're at now and how your life looks now post the Creatrix Transformology program?
My personal life, I am so calm. If you ask anyone who knew me before Creatrix, that's not a word they used. Calm was over here, and Demi was over here. I was, and I needed control, and I had a lot of resentment, and I was a snarky, snippy, not very easy to be around person, and if I had an opinion, I shoved that right down your throat where it belongs. And now, and if you can imagine, all of those things that I just listed, they're not good for a business empowering women. No way. No. So that there launched me into this calm person that when I talk to a client, it's, you know, we connect. I've got, you know, such a calming presence that I actually get it a lot when I'm talking to women that, how do you know so much? How do you, and it's all Creatrix. That's how I know so much. That's how I've got this, you know, emotional awareness. That's That's how I can have an opinion on whatever, like I can, help them understand, because Creatrix helped me get there.
Yep.
And for my business, I have no safety net. There's no one else supporting me. It's just me, and I am comfortable. And it's not just about the money. It's about, I am comfortable that no matter what happens to me, no matter what happens in my business, I've got everything I need to bounce back. There's nothing that can actually stop me, because my resilience is, there's not even a number for it. It's just nothing can happen that I can't handle. There's nothing that can happen that I can't bounce back from, pivot, change what I'm doing. And that's what causes success in a business, because look at what's happening in the world. Like, the people who have, the businesses that have really struggled are the ones that haven't been able to bounce back and flex and move with this crazy times. That they haven't been able to go online. They haven't been able to change what they're doing to fit this new environment. But my business hasn't changed, hasn't missed a step. As like me personally, dealing with the craziness around me, helping my friends, helping my family, the fear that's been happening all around me. I haven't missed a beat, and neither is my business, because I was already online. When I speak, it may be a different demographic that are kind of coming through in my calls at the moment. But it's, I just finished working with a lady from Italy. Her family's still over there. She knows the craziness. There was nothing holding her back. She was like, no, if we're all going out, I'm going out feeling good.
Yeah.
And that, so the business side of things, it's the resilience. It's the ability to just go with the flow. That all those control issues that I had, getting rid of them helped my business as well as my personal life big time. Yeah. And I've grown a business. This is my business. This is what I do. And it's, supplies me with the life that I have.
Do you know what I love what you're saying? Before you had what you had, like before you created your Transformology business, you had a secure job, roof over your head, regular income. So you had all of the things that, standard population would consider to be successful, and that's what we aim for, to have that. But you didn't have fulfillment. You didn't have anything personally, giving you that meaning to your life. Mm-hmm. Now, you still have roof overhead. You still have financial security. You've probably got more financial security now, because you're actually able to, like you said, flex with the times and move with the current climate wherever the climate leads you. You're able to have complete freedom over where you work, when you work, how you want to work. And on top of all of that, you've got this level of personal fulfillment that's just oozing out of you. Like, I can feel it through the screen. And so I'm sure that the people who are watching this can see that it's not something that can be staged. That level of personal fulfillment, when you feel it so deep at your core, it's not something that needs to be forced. Mm-hmm. So by helping you, by working on you, following your heart, recognizing that the circumstance that you were in, although it ticked all the boxes, wasn't enough, and allowing and trusting that heart to speak to you and taking action as a result of that, has led you to have exactly what you've always had, but more of that. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the business front, because again, women in business, and I know we often say we're not actually in business because we're just doing what we love. But when you look at business from a traditional standpoint, how do I word this? Has it been what you would consider something that you have had to hustle to create? Because again, that's another really big misconception, that you have to hustle to create success. Mm-hmm. How has that been for you in your business?
It's chalk and cheese. Hustle is, you know what? I am actually a really lazy person. Ask anyone. I would rather be on the couch doing nothing than do anything else. And that's never going to change. I'm an introvert, really. But somebody said something on a call one day, and I went, that's me. I'm a professional extrovert. So when I'm doing my business side of things, so, I'm talking to women, I'm doing breakthroughs, I'm getting myself out there and encouraging women to see that there's something better. It's like my drug. It's like what drives me. I've never had so much energy. Honestly, I was so lazy before. I never did anything. And now I'm like, 1 minute, yeah, I've just cleaned the kitchen, and then next I'm on the phone to a client because it's all at home. 1 minute I'll go for a 2-hour jog, and then I come home and I smash out whatever needs to be done in my business. It's this flow. It's not that this is me working and this is me at home. Like it used to be where I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I would get ready for work, I would get in the train, and then I would waste that hour getting to work, then I'd be at work, blah, 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 and all your day's gone. No. So I can get out of bed, and before I even have a shower, I'll quickly do a couple of things, because I'm like, I'll wake up and I'll go, I'll do that. Mm-hmm. And then, so I'll quickly do that. And then I'm like, oh, no, I haven't been out very much this week, so I'll just quickly run out, go and do a run with my dog or whatever. And then while I'm running, in my head I'm going, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I wish I had a piece of paper. Oh, that's such a good idea. And then you come home and you quickly do all the stuff that you thought while you were on your run, and then you have a shower, and then you go, you know, I'm going to have some lunch or whatever. And then it's life and work is the same thing. Because I love it. I have the passion for it. And my overriding number one thing that just drives me, the passion in it, is helping women.
Yep.
From the minute I talk to a client, I can see what they're like on the other side. And the view of that is like this beautiful moment. Like it's like a shared connection, and they can feel it. Every client I've worked with, that's why they became a client, because they could feel what it was going to be like on the other side. So then actually working with them, every win of theirs is my win. I was speaking to one of my clients over the weekend, on the long weekend, and, you know, I kind of had the weekend off, but I didn't really, because I was too excited. And I messaged her on, I think, the Saturday morning or something, just to see how she was doing. And the message she sent me back had me, like, dancing around my house. It didn't matter that it was a long weekend and that's technically work and this is home and, you know, take some time off and all that stuff. No, she made my whole weekend, and that's the difference. I was so pumped. I was dancing. I put some music on. Me and my dog were jumping around, because she hired a relationship coach to help her create an online dating profile. This woman, 3 weeks ago, called herself revolting. What did she say? I'm the cockroach of my family. I'm disgusting. Nobody should ever look at me. One day, she connected with the ugly duckling story, because that's what she felt. She felt like she was the wrong person in the wrong body. Like, all of her issues are wrong. And this woman got divorced 10 years ago. She hid from the world. She moved across the world to get away from that old life, and it still stayed with her.
Yep.
And so when I saw that my client had, you know, not just thought about going online dating, not just taken little itty bitty steps into it, she hired somebody that knows what they're doing to
help her,
like, put her best self forward, because she's on a mission now. She's like, no, it's time. I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to, like, there's nothing, and you should, like, her energy is different. She's like, I'm going to do this, and just it's just power. And she made my weekend, and I will never, like, I messaged her back, and honestly, it just kept going. It was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And that's what, you know, when that's what happens, when that's the, you know, that's the win, that's the payback, money's just, that's in the back seat. Like, you can't, there's no price you can put on that. There's no price you can put on changing someone's life so that she goes from calling herself revolting to having the courage to put herself back out there after 10 years. Like, there's no money that can be put on that.
And that energy that you're exuding right now is exactly, that is what success to women looks like. It's this effortless expansion of your greatest self to serve others.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got it in you know, what's the word? You've got it in
space.
That's it. You do. And it's not an uncommon thing for us to see, you know, in transformologists either, because the business and the program is not about ticking boxes and, you know, getting stuff done. It's about connection to self and then connection to others.
Yep.
So what advice would you give if there was a woman watching this video resonating with your story for where you were before in a role that was not providing her with satisfaction? There's a deep yearning for her to follow her gut. She doesn't know what it is, but she's led this there's a direction that's opening up for her and she doesn't understand why, but it keeps hitting her in the face saying, give this a go. What practical advice would you give to her so that she could maybe trust that gut and trust that heart space more than the fears of, insecurity and everything else? What would you say to her?
I would say, if you can go to sleep tonight and not think about this for 1 second, if you sleep like a baby, if you nod off like that and you think nothing more of this, then don't worry about it. But if you're laying there tonight or you're sitting there making a coffee in the morning or, you're just going about your day and in the back of your head you go, but what if it actually does what it says it does? Like, what if it actually can do what they say that it can do? Then there's your answer. Yeah. Because it took, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't know how to run a business. None of the stuff that, you kind of think business women have. Business women who run their own business from home and they kick butt in their thing. I didn't have any of those things. I honestly didn't. All I had was this knowledge that there had to be something more. There had to. And I went through all the stuff and I read all the things and I knew what Creatrix was about because I'd had it myself. And I thought, what if I can? What if they can get me out of my own way enough that I can actually do this confidently? What if what if I do have the support that's going to actually help me to take the steps I need to make a business? What if they do provide everything that I need to make it into a business? And then I did it, and this is my business. This is what I do for a living. I'm never going to retire. I'm never I'm 30. And I've found my thing. How people say, I wish I could find my purpose in life. I found mine at a young age to kick butt in this for the next 50 plus years, and I will never retire. There's no way that I could live with myself if I wasn't out there doing what I've done so far for my clients, for more women in the world. And, if that fires you up, there's your answer. If you can't stop thinking about this, there's your answer. It's the universe telling you this could be it. Why not give it a go? What are you going to lose? If it doesn't touch you, if it doesn't pop back up in your head, don't worry about it. But if it does, that's the universe giving you that sign. That's it. You hit it. You found it. You did it.
The thing that we can learn from you as well, Demi, is, and not just from you, from all of us, that the money, the investment to learn what you learn so that you can live a life of fulfillment, that's what it's all about. It's not actually about the money. You've had the money and you've had security before, and there was something big missing, and that was fulfillment. And you gave that up. You took a risk for the value of your fulfillment that you could gain. And so often that's what, we allow the wrong things to dictate our decisions. And, I'm so grateful that you didn't do that. You followed your gut. And, as a result, the client that you were telling us about, she's now living her best life. She's got this beautiful opportunity to make the most of it. All of the women that you've worked with now have that, all because you didn't allow security and financial regularity to keep you in a space that was not providing you with fulfillment. You instead followed your heart. And I think that's the most important thing that we can take out of this conversation is, what is it that's actually going to help you to sleep at night? Is it putting yourself to sleep with funny cat videos, or is it going to bed of a night with a heart so full because you know that you're living your purpose?
Yep. And if you look at how it's monetarily helped me, because a lot of women are like, I don't want to talk about money. But you know what? I'm single. I live by myself, and I have all of my bills paid. I've never missed a day of rent. And this is I actually went out on a limb and really pushed to have my Creatrix Transformology business. In the last year, I have put all of me into it, which isn't actually that hard. It was actually really fun. And I paid off my car. I, moved into this house, which was a bit more expensive than my old one, on my own. I pay all my bills. Everything is me. Everything relies on me. And I haven't missed a beat. I don't have to worry about my bills. And yeah, like money might not be really important, but that's so empowering for me. That is absolutely, to know that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, in the matter of time, because I can flex my business around my life.
Yep.
Like if I want to go travel, well, right now I can't, but next year I plan to. And I'm going to be able to take my clients along with me. There's no reason I can't do that. I have the freedom to pick and choose what I want to do. And I have the freedom to buy the things that I want to buy and pay for the experiences that I want to experience. And that's better than, it's not just about money. Money, I don't sit there and count the money in my bank. I just know that when I want to get something, I can get it. There's no guilt, there's no shame about money in me, because I got it in a way that was beautiful. I changed these women's lives for the better, and they thank me, and it's beautiful. And then I get to also, support myself. Like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It has been such a joy speaking with you. Your enthusiasm is freaking contagious, and it's amazing. So thank you so much for your time. For everyone watching, I hope that you've enjoyed hearing about Demi's journey. I hope it's inspired you to be courageous and listen to that heart space that is yearning inside of you to follow your dreams and follow your passions and make your passion your life, because that's something that you definitely deserve as well. So thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again very soon.